Hey friends, my name is Michael Haig and I am a principal threat researcher here at Splunk. And today we're going to walk through the lost payload, the MSIX resurrection. So follow along. If you are listening to this, you probably read the blog, and let's go ahead and just dive into some of the highlights here. Kind of the quickest piece of related to MSIX that we'll cover here today is we're just going to talk about what is an MSIX package, how do adversaries use it, and then we'll spend majority of our time in the demo looking at a builder I created to help defenders understand MSIX better, test with it, and also look at some of the content created for MSIX detections. So let's jump in. So yeah, kind of briefly what MSIX is. Most everybody knows what an MSI file is. Think of MSIX as the next iteration of that. It's a lot newer and cleaner. And the best thing about it is from an adversary's perspective, is just this particular screenshot here is it looks really legitimate as it pops up, has very clean like Windows form kind of a based app. And it just looks nice. And if it's signed, it basically will say that. It'll say like Microsoft Store app or whatever it may be that the adversary they stole a cert and they signed their app, or they made a way for it to look legitimate. It'll look just like that, publisher version, things like that. It's very clean. It has full Windows 32 support. You can run scripts from it. You can deliver practically anything with it. Just as if you were installing a tool from the Windows Store, it would more or less look like that too. So it's very much a great way for adversaries to deliver malware, and also a great way for developers to provide a great experience for their users, especially for signed application delivery. So how do adversaries use it? There's a lot of cases out there. This particular instance comes from a Microsoft blog in 2023 when this was really starting to pick up. At the time, and I believe it was towards the end of the year of 2023, in December, Microsoft actually disabled a lot of the MSIX auto running and whatnot. And they also removed I think the protocol handlers for it or something like that. So there was definitely some time here where Microsoft was like, we're no longer going to just let these things go. I believe it was also a mark of the web like bypass. So as it was being delivered, it was just being downloaded and allowed to be run. This particular adversary that they call out in their blog, they were doing SEO poisoning. And so somebody would search for like Zoom installer, and this is what they would get. They would get a clean looking downloaded app, an MSIX package. It would then pop up like this, install Zoom. You're like, well, it's Zoom. It has the icon. It's signed. And just click install and you're good to go. Which then led to the next stage of their payload and everything else. So very common. Delivering MSIX like this is probably the most common way adversaries will get in using this type of package format. It's very clean, very easy. It looks good. All right. So now we're going to hop into our demo here. And what I'm going to show is a little bit related to what you read in the blog. I built this tool called MSIXBuilder. It allows us defenders to be able to quickly create an MSIX package and deliver it to a test lab environment and load it up. It does have signing built into it, so you don't have to just click a package and it just prompts and says that this is not signed. We will actually sign, and then we'll also install the certificate and go from there. So let's hop on in. All right, friends, so here we are. We're looking at the MSIXBuilder here. I just downloaded this straight from the repo under releases. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and just double click the GUI element. Now remember, there is the PowerShell script element of this, but the GUI is a lot cleaner. The first time you click it, if you don't have all the requirements, it'll prompt you and install those before you get going on this. This particular case, I'm just going to go ahead and change a couple elements in here. This is related to like just the output of things. And then for the type of application you want to run out of our MSIX, go ahead and do both. It'll actually run a PowerShell script, and it has a C# wrapper for it, and it'll compile that application as well. And if you want additional telemetry as far as just logging, there's also like a little detection Yara rule thing it'll create, which is kind of cool. And then the automatic downloads is just stuff if you want to have it automatically do the installation. And you can click these too if you're just like, hey, give me everything. If you're blue, you want to just go for all the things like that. So yeah, you can play with the settings as much as you want. And then yeah, from there, if you hit validate, doesn't hurt anything. And then just create the package. And then it's going to prompt for opening that directory up. And so first, I want to show you the difference between the no certificate and certificate here. So we're just going to double click. It's going to pop up and say, hey, I don't know, the publisher came from somewhere, you know, bad news. All right, so cool. That's actually really good. So, and if you want to install the certificate, you can do it manually on the command line, or you can just hit install certificate here. It'll prompt and tell you you are good to go. Now you can evade that by just running the command line of this to actually load the MSIX. So I didn't do that. But in this particular case, this is all you have to do, and just hit install, and it runs and it completes. So that's how quick and easy it is to use the builder. Highly recommend it. If you wanted to see like the source of the code, everything is here inside the actual directory. It does create like an AppX manifest and everything like that that you might need. You can change logos and stuff too if you want to build your own, however you want. So yeah, thank you for checking this part out. I'm going to flip back now. We're going to go to detections. So let's go ahead and change on over. All right, awesome. All right, so here is our analytic story. It's called MSIX package abuse. And I went ahead and created quite a bit of content here. Probably the most important thing to understand is there is about 2 really good like log sources, data sources for you to find all this information. The blog covers the inputs to gather these. First one here is the Windows AppXDeployment server operational log. This has interesting data alongside the AppX packaging. Now, from what I've seen, most people go after the AppXDeployment, not realizing here that the AppX packaging is pretty awesome as well. But with that, let's go ahead and just flip into a couple of these analytics here. So first one I'll show here is just using the add app package and AppX package here with the command line allow unsigned. Now, this is one of the only ways to evade sort of that installation without a certificate. So if you saw an adversary running this or someone was running this, it's probably worth at least investigating why they're installing it on the command line like that. All right. So one other really cool log out of the AppXDeployment server op log here is Red Canary found that it's very common these particular package monikers here related to Microsoft in particular. So these 2 IDs, publisher IDs, related to Microsoft Store. And when you dig into the Windows app directory where all the apps are located, they'll have common schemas just like these 2. So Red Canary called out these 2, and I thought this was a really awesome way to identify suspicious installations that are occurring on endpoints. I'll show you more of that here when we get to Splunk. Now, the next one here comes from the deployment server log. This one is looking for full trust packages being installed. For the most part, they're all fully trusted. So it's more of a hunting query just to kind of like dig in and just out of more curiosity of what's happening on your endpoints. So, and then the last one I'll show more or less just kind of shows unauthorized or suspicious packages being installed. So this is when it's successful. We do break down in the blog sort of the different event logs kind of in sequence from like click to installation. So very helpful just to kind of understand and see these things happen. Other notable analytics in here is advanced installer stubs execution. This is where adversaries were using the advanced install tool to embed or create the MSIX package. And within it, it'll use these like files that are real obvious for AI stubs. They call it out right here too. It has a couple different EXEs that it'll load inside that package. So we wrote that. Thanks to Red Canary for that one too. That was a really good catch. And yeah, unsigned packages and things like that. All the content's in here. In addition with the data sources, these are new. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Splunk. I'm going to first show the full trust analytic. Now, it's a little verbose, and it's going to be very verbose in large organizations. That's why it's a hunting query. Mostly just wanted to give you an idea of the amount of like apps being installed in your organization. Now, for the most part, a lot of them will be pretty obviously legitimate. The ones that look suspect are going to probably come from non-standard directories, not Edge and things like that. So it's a way to tune these down as much as you want. So, but yeah, just something to kind of be aware of as you start digging into these. They're really cool. But yeah, you definitely want to kind of make sure. And you can see too, the calling process on some of these are a lot different than the more like obvious malicious looking ones that I downloaded and played with. WDEC Wizard's legit, but it kind of does stand out. So yeah, from there, want to at least show you this one's looking for the 854 event code. This is showing me kind of every one that's been installed. It's very hunty, so you want to make sure you tune it down if you want to tune it down, or just kind of go through and just see what people are installing. Again, it'll mostly stand out pretty quickly who's installing something very suspect. The more legitimate ones you can see kind of come from System Apps or Windows Apps Directory and things like that. They look a lot more legit. It's cool. And the last one I'll show here is the developer analytic using that package moniker. So you can see these are, so it's not the Microsoft ones. Now it's showing us everything that kind of is non-standard. And you can see my endpoint down here has a lot of really suspect looking ones, or just ones that are not, or the ones that are developer signed in my environment. All right, so last thing I'll show here is the repo for MSIXBuilder, just so you can kind of get a little visibility of what this looks like here too. So MSIXBuilder, again, has a PowerShell script component. You can run everything just that way, or it will also install all of the requirements as well. I recommend the GUI just because it's a lot cleaner. So definitely check out the GUI version of it. And then you can actually set all the settings and parameters and whatnot. Call out some event logs, as mentioned, AppX packaging and AppDeployment, things like that. But overall, it's all self-contained, ready to go. Hit releases here and download and check it out. Cool. Thank you so much for listening today. And I hope you found this blog and the content very interesting. And yeah, thank you again and have a great day.